Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Jessica Clemons, and this is a breakdown of Echo Episode 4, titled Taloa. That's after Maya's mom. Last episode, we saw Kingpin arrive in what felt like a green screen shot. Regardless, Kingpin has entered the chat, and in this episode, we'll explore a couple of things. 1, how the heck did Echo get her powers? 2, can Kingpin see in both eyes? And 3, does he own Avengers Tower? So let's quit lollygagging and get into it. But first, don't forget to check out nerdriot.shop, where right now you can find merch inspired by the Echo series, including a shirt featuring the big man himself and a shirt with Echo spelled out in ASL with bloody knuckles. It's 2008 and we're in New York City, the big NY, the Big Apple. Along with young Maya going to a private school and being accompanied by Wilson Fisk, this is the year that Tony's abducted, has a change of heart, and we see the Mark 1, 2, and 3 suits. We also see the Duel of Los Angeles, aka, when like Tony Stark and Obadiah Stane really just messed up our city. So a quiet year in New York, but a freaking shit show over in the City of Angels. Maya steps out in her school uniform and little prosthetic leg. We've seen this scene in the trailer, but not much detail from it. And there's also a New York Post box behind them, and this ice cream guy is kind of a dickhead. In one of the Hawkeye deleted scenes, Fisk offers to get ice cream with Maya after karate while her dad is busy doing his work. So this was her comfort and tradition with Fisk, excluding, the half-dead ice cream man who gets beat to a pulp in front of her. Additionally, I like how Fisk just yanks this man into an alley in straight up daylight. The last thing we see before this man gets his dome rocked is frozen treats. Doesn't know yet that he's about to get a frozen beat down. I mentioned Fisk wearing that damn white suit in the first episode, and I'll mention it again here because he thinks he's slick wearing the same outfit twice. We see the bloody hand that we saw in the trailer. I've mentioned this also before, but we hadn't seen Kingpin's infamous cufflinks since the finale of Hawkeye when Kate did Clint's coin trick. Even in this shot, we don't see them, just the rings that's been on this entire season. This could be the new form of cufflinks. They do resemble them with a dark stud in the center. In the teaser footage that was released for Echo that had clips from Daredevil, they strategically edited around the scenes that show the cufflinks. So I think they're now rings. So after reacting carelessly, he smashes this man's head in, asks for forgiveness, and then moves on. Just like he did with Vanessa and that Russian guy whose head he slammed repeatedly between a car door until he beheaded him. Because old habits die hard, I guess, with Wilson Fisk. Before seeing Maya, he calls someone on the phone.
Yes, I need a new jacket.
This could be Melvin Potter, who Fisk had making his suits back in the day during Daredevil, or it could be his little bitch Wesley, his personal assistant who was there every step of the way. Maya's watching, just like the dragon, and clearly she's picked up a new vibe from her uncle and all the crime she's been around. She gets a couple of good licks in on the ice cream man, then walks away hand in hand with Fisk. Jump to 2021, Fisk and Maya are having their weekly Sunday dinners when he basically promotes her. He reveals that they can only trust each other, and I'll be honest, Fisk is clearly an emotional man who wears his heart on his sleeve. You'd think he'd be smarter with that big ass head of his. In the background is a piece of art featuring the stars from the American flag and some hammers. If there's two things Wilson Fisk loves, it's America and hammers. This is some foreshadowing to a very important hammer that will come back at the end of the episode. We also see why the translator has changed at least twice, and it's because he's killing them after he's done with them. He literally escorted her to her plastic bag death and then killed her. We actually get to hear her beg for her life, and it's horrible. Honestly, though horrible, I do like this little detail. It's a nice touch because I wondered, what if he told Maya he was gonna blow up the moon? Would the translator tell the president? This is all where I'd put my don't shoot the messenger joke, but I don't have to. It speaks for itself. Though I do feel bad for these women and Joule from Daredevil Season 3. They did absolutely nothing and they keep just dying. Back to the present, Fisk is at Maya's house waiting on her with his goons. They place a contact in her eye, allowing her to see virtual ASL that auto-translates whatever Fisk is saying. It captures your face, forearms, and hands, and when it tries to recognize Fisk's eye, the right eye gets a little red diamond. It's attempting to reconnect and can't source his retinas. I think the closest thing we had to digital translator in the MCU was the Kree tech that Carol, Quill, and later the rest of the Guardians had. The translator would auto-translate various languages because they were always in space. They don't speak English in space, not all the places. I think the closest we'd get to this translator regarding engineering are the Edith classes, especially how it scans your retina, recognizing the user as it did for Peter. Also, later in the top left corner, it looks like a symbol of two hands and faint letters saying ASL. So this is probably originally a device to translate languages, and you could roll through them like a Rolodex. The ASL could be the new commission accessory that Fisk talked about, but this is just a working theory. I'm only assuming this because we're still trying to figure out who owns Avengers Tower. And if this translator and the eye patch were pieces of the tech left behind, I wouldn't be surprised. Naturally, we all imagine Pepper Potts would have liquidated everything, but what if she didn't? What if she left behind the smaller tech that does nothing? Or what if Tony had left something behind with information about new prototype tech? Then it would be easier for Fisk to move in and create from Tony's history that he left behind. Additionally, it's not like a disgruntled employee hasn't left Stark Industries before, stinking of revenge, and could be working under Fisk. But I want to believe my first theory just because anything is really possible, and I think that's more possible. Fisk and Maya go inside, and then Fisk reveals his damaged eye. Why did he wait to go in the house to do it? Why is he wearing the bandage all the freaking time if he doesn't need it? Why is he so dramatic? I hate Wilson Fisk. When he began removing the bandage, it lit up blue and had a subtle electronic hum. The same blue light and electronic hum as the regeneration cradle made by Helen Cho in Age of Ultron.
You sure he's gonna be?
This device fixed Clint's leg, helped Ultron's vibranium body, and created vision. Later, it was destroyed, but that doesn't mean the pieces, blueprints, or prototypes were. It could still live in Avengers Tower. I think this could be a big hint as we're still waiting to see who actually owns it. And also, hey, look, I get it. No one has touched this house, but that clock still says 8:35, which is the same time of death when Maya's mom died, or at least when they left the house to go get hot chocolate. Why are these batteries they're just dead? They're just dead and it stayed the same time for like years? Maya pours the wine down the sink, probably to keep him and her with a clear head. However, we haven't really seen Maya really drink this entire show, like drink alcohol. At the Fisk family dinner, she's usually standing menacingly or just looking at him.
Menacingly!
At one point, it looks like her wine glass actually has water in it rather than alcohol, so she might not drink. Kingpin offers Lafette wine, which can range from $300, a nice measly $300, to $18,000 allegedly. And Kingpin says this:
What happened to the Lafette? They came highly recommended.
As we remember from Daredevil season 1, he doesn't know how to buy wine. He only takes recommendations because he's unrefined. Wesley told him how to shop for Vanessa's wine. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Maybe I should be out with him.
Instead, they enjoy some Shasta Cola and Levain cookies, real beloved cookies from New York City that I think producer Evan really loves a lot. He speaks highly of them, says they're really good, but also very bougie. Then Fisk offers her an Empire with him. He's flying out tomorrow and is staying at the Choctaw Casino. We see it later, and this is actually the design for the actual Choctaw casinos. Then he leaves, giving her the obvious decision to not take it. Henry closed the skating rink the next day, probably because he was busy cleaning Vicky's blood from the floor. Something I've noticed that's been addressed in recent interviews is Henry usually speaks out loud when he's signing, and so does Scully and Biscuit. Sometimes they'll take a second to remember how to sign something. This, among other scenes, is great attention to detail. In an interview with Total Film, director Sidney Freeland mentions how varying people in Maya's life are more fluent in ASL than others. People who are less proficient will also speak at the same time. It's called Simcom, so they tried to make a spectrum of experiences in Maya's family to be more authentic. Also, these actors learned sign language from Eternal's ASL consultant Doug Ridloff, who is the husband of the actress who played Makari. Too bad for you, Barry Kogan. Beautiful, beautiful Makari, my ass. If you're looking to ring in the new year by ringing in a new you, revamping your daily hygiene routine is the best place to start, and Geology is here to help your New Year's resolution with new skincare solutions. Ding! Geology is a 29-time award-winning skin, hair, body care company recognized in Men's Health, Oprah Daily, Hypebeast, Birdie, Esquire, and GQ. Geology's products use just a handful of powerful proven ingredients that have been trusted by dermatologists for decades. Geology can help you fight acne, reduce oiliness, prevent wrinkles, combat dark or puffy under eyes, have smoother hydrated skin, and target signs of aging. And I mean, is it really a new year if you don't age? I mean, I don't think so. If you don't know where to start, Geology can create a simple and effective skincare or hair care routine for you. All you gotta do is take a quick 30-second quiz. 30 seconds? That's nothing. You are free, and I know you are free for at least 30 seconds. Right now, if you use code NEWROCKSTARS100, Geology will give you 100% off of their award-winning skincare trial set. 100% off. You are out of your mind. Do you guys know how to do math? You'll also get an additional bonus offer of up to 30% off one skin, hair, or body product when you add it to your trial. So 100% off, plus an additional 30% off. I hope you save some champagne because this deal is worth celebrating. I'm about to pop some bottles. Click the link in the description or go to geolog.ie/rockstars100 to get started. Henry then has a heart-to-heart with Maya about trying to leave, and Fisk threatens to kill him if he does. As we know from the finale of Hawkeye and this show, Fisk will track you down and kill you if you threaten to leave him. Everyone's afraid of it. We've seen bits and pieces, but they're finally setting up the Choctaw powwow. Chola was preparing for it with other organizers in the last episode, and we saw a poster for it in the first episode. A powwow is a time and a place to learn and celebrate Native American cultures, specifically here for the Choctaw Nation. Then we see some real sights. It's at the Haskell County Fairgrounds, which is a real place in Sublette, Kansas. And Teton Trade Cloth by Lenape is a real shop, native-owned and woman-owned, creating Indian artwork, wool trade cloth, trade beads, and other rare finds. Then Chola gets a flashback of her ancestors like we've seen throughout with Maya. Then, at the same time, Maya receives the same visions at Henry's. Most of these these are new images for us as well. A canopy of trees and the sunlight beaming through them. A pregnant woman on a stretcher. The pregnant woman giving birth in the woods. The spiral we've seen now has etching, then cuts to a wide shot so we see the top of the cave that collapsed in the first episode. Then I think Maya faints and Henry takes her to her grandmother's. I don't know if everyone knows Chola's powers or she's just known as the town grandma who can fix everything. I think it's alluded to her family knowing Chola has a firm connection with the ancestors though, because after Maya's visions, Henry didn't take her to a hospital or Gretchen. He was like, only one person can fix this child's inner demons. All it took for these two to finally talk was Henry dropping her off and saying, get the hell out of here. Inside Chola's home, she offers pop and cookies like Maya didn't just have that exact meal last night with Fisk. In the background on Chola's fridge is a fox drawing, probably because Chola's name means fox. The more you know. We learned that Maya's mom barely made it and her grandma in labor left the hospital to a midwife, then gave birth to Maya's mom, Taloa, who was a healer. And the generations are echoing to Maya and coming when Maya or Chola need them the most. I couldn't find much on the midwife process in Choctaw tradition, but this scene is beautiful. It's mentioned in an interview with Seth Fairchild that there are some things in Choctaw Nation that can't be expressed in the series, and maybe this is one of them. Maya storms out and Chola heads into her studio. They mentioned that she used to have a shop in the second episode when prepping for the powwow.
Nita, you know Chola's store's been closed down for a while now.
In the studio, we see a lot of different fringe clothing. I think she makes the regalia dresses. The number 12 on the mannequin might represent the 12 districts of the Choctaw Nation. Then Down to the River to Pray plays, which respectfully, my family's from Tennessee and Mississippi, and hearing this song again triggers something in me that I can't listen to the song anymore. I want to throw my head through the computer. The exact origins of this song, though, are unknown, with it often being attributed to African-American spirituals from the 19th century, with the earliest version of this song being written down in 1867. The version used here is performed by Alison Krauss and was featured in the Coen brothers film, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? You remember that movie? It was very funny. As we see a sad Chola, Maya on her bike again, Bonnie is sad at Chola's house in her kitchen, Biscuit is still trying to fix Chola's car at a car lot. He refers to Chola as Pokney, that's Choctaw for grandma. Woody also quotes the Lion King. His name's Woody, he quotes the Lion King, and this is all just ridiculous. Then we get this very deep moment that sums up what we should expect in the finale episode.
You know what you're looking for? I'll know when I find it.
Chola always says there's nothing too broke to fix. If you want it bad enough, don't throw it away.
Chola is currently designing an outfit that we will see Maya in later, and I will break it down then because it's spectacular and we need to see it in better lighting. Maya rode all the way to the casino to kill Kingpin, presumably. The gospel music that's just playing over her about to assassinate someone is crazy to me. It says, show me the way, and it's down the barrel of a freaking gun. He's put the bandage back on his eye, and I suspect it's healing 24/7 or just makes him more comfortable. I hate how Kingpin is trying to tell her we only had each other at one point, like he wasn't the reason for that. The psychological abuse and manipulation Fisk is imprinting on Maya right now, like, ugh, the entire series, it sucks, and I'm glad she's confronting him about it in this scene. Between Natasha, Yelena, Gamora, Nebula, and now Echo, like these men manipulating these girls and lying to them from such young ages, that stuff doesn't go away. They just grow from those emotions. That could lead to a ton of mental health problems, behavioral problems, basically turning them into other kingpins. It doesn't also stop at like girls. It's Shang-Chi, Moon Knight, Star-Lord, the list goes on. It's horrible because we really don't have a solution for it in the MCU. These heroes just grow from these traumas, and I wish they could all help each other or just talk to each other. Then when I think he's about to pull out his cufflinks, he shows off the hammer. The hammer! And you're right, one of these things are not like the other. The hammer from Echo and the hammer from Daredevil are two different things. The Echo one is prettier. Why did they change it? I have no idea. I can't even theorize why they would, but they did. Hector on Inside Marvel mentioned the change of hammer being a thematic change rather than an obvious one.
Thematically, a framing hammer is something that is used to normally like build a house, right? Wilson Fisk, 12-year-old, used a framing hammer to tear down that house.
Oh my God.
And in the present, a ball-peen hammer is more often used in a way to kind of forge metal or a weapon.
Shape metal.
So he's trying to shape Maya into a weapon for himself.
Why?
So that's why thematically, I'm just trying to like
Why
Marvel
am I in
no prize
this
this.
episode?
Make it so that there's not a continuity error. It's not a continuity error. It's on purpose, okay?
He proposes to Maya the generous gift of beating him to death like he did his father with the hammer, and honestly, would that even kill him? Would it even kill him? He was shot in the face and survived, so truly, would he die from a hammer to the head? Regardless, she's not like him, so she throws the hammer back down. We knew from the teaser trailer that Kingpin's story of killing his father would make its way into the Disney MCU via Echo, but him carrying the hammer is wild. What is he, Thor? Then Maya leaves questioning whether she should go with Kingpin. The next day at the lake by her house, she ponders and we see flashes of Kingpin sitting with her at karate, in the car after the motorcycle accident. He's laughing at the family dinner, but she also remembers the bad times, like fighting Clint on top of the roof with Yelena and Kate Bishop from Hawkeye, Fat Man's auto repair when Clint told her the truth, on the bridge with the tracksuit mafia shooting at Clint and Kate, quicker cuts of the motorcycle through the shop window, the security guards at the drug den, her shooting at Clint at the auto repair in Hawkeye, what director Sidney Freeland calls the birth of a villain Berlin. Kingpin tells her, "I love you," and Hawkeye, after talking to Eleanor Bishop, she says it back, "Ugh, but I understand." Henry is a hostage at the skating rink. Her family is in literal danger. The time she had Biscuit tracking her on the train, destroying Grandma's car, Bonnie seeing her for the first time in years, quicker cuts to Scully, Chola, her dying father, her mother. All of these play major factors in her life. Her family and crime are the only life she's ever known. The misjudgment and manipulation, this girl has been every way but up. And now she's finally getting a chance to make a decision for herself, and we hope she chooses right. When you're in the dark as long as Maya has been, it's hard to see your way out, and sometimes just disappearing sounds like a good idea. The hardest thing a superhero can do is protect their family. And from all those quick cutaways, I assume she's only got one real family worth the effort. So we've got to hope she continues on a path of curiosity, and that curiosity puts her down a path of becoming a hero. She leaves Tamaha, and other than the Choctaw national seal on the A of Tamaha, we see Chapisa Lachiki, which means until we meet again. Then we're taken to the tarmac with the plane, and Maya ain't coming. Kingpin's men say they lost track of her, and Kingpin's a kid who has just lost his toy and is super angry right now and about to break his own plane. During the closing credits, we hear the song Bread and Cheese from the group Hallucination, and featuring Black Bear, a group from Canada who perform traditional First Nation music. These two groups often collaborate to combine electronic dance music and hip hop with indigenous music, and it is so good. It's honestly really good. Please go look it up. It's so good. Me and Brandon were listening to it. There are also a ton of Daredevil moves happening in this series. In this episode, Kingpin is still aligned completely with his crazy murderous rampaging self that we saw all the way back then in Daredevil. Him killing the translator, threatening everyone, making shady deals and commissions is still very Daredevil Kingpin. And that's it for my breakdown on episode 4 of Echo. Tune in tomorrow for my episode 5 breakdown. Oh, that's the end of it for us. Oh, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Lulu_Clemons. Follow New Rockstars, subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Check out the break room where we'll be covering Echo all this week. Thanks for watching. Bye.